Billy got it bumping.
Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Put a dude in this place, he out cold. With a tombstone, grapple the waist, get laid flat. Can't escape, nowhere to go, the cage match. It's on now, when I spot him, it's no problem. Everybody stone cold till they hit with the rock bottom. Sharpshooter, I won't miss him like Bret Hart. Like Al Snow, they gon' need him a head start. I just might catch a better body than Mickey James. Get acquainted with the name, we bringin' the pain. Like Kane in the ring, all I see is red. Paul era, Undertaker, I can see the dead. John Cena putting hands in your face. 10 DBS, keep a milli on the waist. B2TF, better stay in your place or get smacked down, play it safe. What you talking about?
Welcome to another episode of Boot to the Face, powered by FullPressCoverage.com. Go there for all your sporting wants and needs, where I am sure you will not hear a motherfucking thing about anything the Dallas Cowboys did during the first 2 days of free agency. But if you follow me on Twitter, I'm in the process of a little meltdown right now at Old Man Rucker. You can go see me getting my shit off for the past hour and a half. But go to fullpresscoverage.com. They got wall-to-wall coverage of all the new free agency moves. I see them on Instagram and Facebook posting constantly. It's where I get my sports news from, so you go there also. EJ,
what's up?
How you feeling about the lack of activity coming out of the Star in Frisco, Texas?
Call me Negrodamus. I knew this was the first thing that we brought up once we got on here. I mean, what can you do, man? You gotta bring up the general manager's name.
He sucks.
Your
He's a
boy.
piece of shit. The Crypt Keeper, he sucks. I'm tired of him. You remember when CM Punk said the only way WWE is gonna ever do anything is when Vince McMahon is dead and he don't leave it to his dumbass son-in-law or whatever.
The irony.
I don't want to go that far, but I think he might have been talking about Jerry Jones and the Cowboys.
Hey man, I told you this would be the case once the last playoff meltdown. I said, I don't know, man. As long as Jerry keeps sticking his nose in the pot. We talked about this before. Look at Robert Kraft. He just stays back, lets the front office do their thing, and pop up to the Super Bowl celebrations with Meek Mill.
You know, I'm in a group chat with my Dynasty League, and my Dynasty League consists of some very rich people. Judging by tax brackets, I shouldn't be in this Dynasty League, but I got in through a buddy that I went to high school with. He's a big Patriots fan. And he said that after Belichick is gone and basically stopped last year, he's noticing that Robert Kraft has got a lot of Jerry Jones in him, which is probably going to come to light this year now that Belichick isn't there. But he said he's been noticing it the past couple years, but Belichick's kind of been keeping a wrap on it. So,
well, look at when Jerry Jones had Jimmy Johnson though. And then once Jimmy was gone, you saw Jerry making his way in the music videos, all up in the music videos, in the words of Suge Knight.
Even Bill Parcells. Parcells was only there for a couple years, but he took some shitty teams to the playoffs. And then as much as I love T.O., Parcells didn't want T.O. Jerry did that against his fucking wishes. And after that first year, Parcells was like, too old for this shit. I'm out.
Look at the Hunt family. You don't hear a peep from them. I don't even know who Hunt is if I saw him on the street. They got 3 chips in with 5 years.
Yeah. This week I'll be dropping my first Full Press Cowboys in a while. So if you want to hear me just completely have a meltdown, look out for that, because that will be posted later this week. And I'm going to be real. I'm not going to fucking sugarcoat the shit anymore. Not that I was ever on the payroll with them, but I've had a complete 180 from this time last year to right now on how I feel about America's team. And you can check that out on Full Press Cowboys later on.
But what skill position or other positions would you want to see some movement in the free agency?
Linebacker, running back, defensive tackle, center.
Definitely center and linebacker.
You know what we couldn't do? We couldn't stop the run and we couldn't run the ball. And you're watching all these linebackers, all these running backs, and all these centers go off the board while Dallas is just sitting there. How you only got $3 million in salary cap and they just gave you an extra 30 million?
Tell me about it. But running back, I don't know. I would have liked. A lot of people was begging for like the Saquon. I've never been a huge fan of Saquon, but Derrick Henry for like a year or two, that would have been nice.
Just $8 million? Fuck yeah. Just paid Tony Pollard like 15 million. He didn't do shit.
Yeah.
And now you can get Derrick Henry for half of that? Come on.
Talking about Jerry Jones is too smart for his own good sometimes. I think if it's not his idea, he doesn't want to do it.
I don't think he's too smart. I think he's seeing the writing on the wall. Again, I'm going to talk about all this, but we as Cowboy fans show up, they get the highest ratings, they sell the highest tickets, especially when they travel, and we go to those games. They sell all their merch. Like when the Falcons lose here in Atlanta, I go to Academy and I go to Foot Locker and shit. All their shit's half off. You know, so many years in a row, I see Matt Ryan jerseys half off. Roddy White jerseys half off. Soon as they lose, all this shit goes on sale. They just want to get it out of there. Cowboys stays the same. Cowboys away tickets 200% higher on average than everybody else in the NFL. And we buy the shit. Why would he fucking try to win? He just wants ESPN and everybody else to keep talking about him. They stay relevant. They stay making all that money. And he ain't even got to try.
That is a good point. But I guess he's lying then, because I've heard a couple interviews. He's like, I want more than anything to win one before I die. I mean, the clock is ticking, Jerry. You're in your 80s.
Okay, he's the GM. If he wants more than anything, what what harm is it for 1 year to just say, you know what, fuck it. Let's do what the Eagles did a couple years ago and when they had the dream team or whatever. Let's do what Boston. All these teams that are better than Dallas right now are still going out getting people.
Yeah. Hey, pride is the devil. I mean, when's the last time the Cowboys have done like a splash free agency get with Amari Cooper? Probably.
T.O.
That was a trade. Amari got traded then, right?
Amari Cooper was a trade because they cut Dez Bryant and thought they could do wide receiver by committee with fucking Allen Hurns and a bunch of other motherfuckers we've never heard of. And then they realized they couldn't, and they went and got Amari Cooper. They have a team right now constructed. If we line up and play football today, they'll win 11, 12, 13 games next year.
That's not
And
the
they'll go to
concern,
the
though.
playoffs. And they'll go to the playoffs, and they'll get smacked in the fucking mouth.
Yeah, I mean, people might think it's just football. Playoff football is a different beast, man. It just is. Not really way. It's not really a tangible thing, but people come to playoffs to show out, man.
I know my girl Sol Ruka came back last week.
Yeah, she did. But yeah,
Some wrestling, man. I don't want to be frustrated and depressed on this show.
but one more thing, T.O. was like 20 years ago, and like you said, that's saying something. That's the last Flash free agency. That was like 20 years ago, almost. What, 05, 06 is when he came in from the
04.
Eagles.
Yeah, 05, 06. I mean, name one.
I can't think.
I'm thinking T.O., but Rolando McClain playing linebacker, but that wasn't really a splash. He was troubled. He was cheap. He was really good too. Greg Hardy.
Look how that turned out.
I mean, yeah, it turned out bad, but at the time, it was a pretty good move, a pretty big move. But yeah, they don't do it.
Gilmore, he was the free agent. I mean, that's on
Gilmore
the
was traded.
backside. Oh, he's traded.
Yeah, they traded for Gilmore and they traded for Brandon Carr.
Yeah, well, yeah, like you said, maybe like a Greg Hardy, and look how that turned out. Tragic, but hey, we'll still be tuning in like we always do.
I can tell you now, I will not be buying a goddamn thing with a star on it this year. I'm done spending my money on them.
Good.
They come here to Atlanta, I might go to that game, but I'm not buying any kind of merch. I'm not doing any of that shit. Like, nah, I'm too old. I'm done with this shit. It's been 30 years. Every year I give everything I have to cheer for these motherfuckers and living and dying with them. Or as soon as they lose, everybody's fucking making fun of me and texting me and tagging me on Facebook. I don't give a fuck anymore. Tag me all you want. I'm gonna like it and keep on moving. I don't care anymore.
Until they start getting on your nerves again. Then you have to come out of retirement, eat to them,
Maybe.
talk about their bum ass team, most likely. If you ain't a Chiefs fan, then you can't really talk.
That's the most annoying thing. Is like when people find out you're a Cowboys fan, they always can tell you why your team sucks. But then they're like a fucking Jacksonville Jaguars fan or some shit like that. It's like I
Raiders.
don't, I don't even know anybody on your team, like besides the main quarterback or the coach or somebody. But like, how are you telling me about my fucking third string cornerback? You know, like it's a
and,
different level.
and before we move on to wrestling, what do you think about wrestling Pittsburgh?
I like Russell Wilson. I
Yeah,
hate the Steelers.
me too. I mean, it's like you want the guy to do good, but he's on the Steelers, though.
Yeah, I really wanted it to work for him in Denver. I didn't mind the Broncos. They're probably one of the like least non-likable teams in the NFL. And then they got Sean Payton.
Uh, Tomlin, I don't mind Tomlin. I like Tomlin.
I think Tomlin's a damn good coach. I just don't like the Steelers.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it turns out, but still got a while for football season, so I'm sure there'll be a lot to talk about on Dallas podcast. I know you said you're recording this week.
Yep. You know, it's always wrestling season though, EJ, and the fucking ball never stops. Last week we had Sting's last match. You and I went to Greensboro, North Carolina. We checked that out, which still just thinking of, I don't know about you. I know you're not a Sting fan like I am, but I feel like that was just a really good fucking, it was a good pay-per-view to be at. That match was fucking crazy. And just going back and thinking about like all of it, it's like, damn, that was, I'm glad I went.
Perfect send off for the Stinger.
Yeah. I'm definitely glad I went. I feel like if I wouldn't have went, I would feel bad watching it at home on TV, knowing that I could have drove a couple hours and gotten there. So I'm extremely glad I went. But the ball keeps rolling. You know, big business is tomorrow night as we record this for AEW. Apparently, you know, your boy Rucker's all elite. As I went to 3 AEW shows in the span of about 5 days last week. So we'll have a lot to talk about with that. Um, but you sent the notes over, EJ. Where do you want to get started?
Yeah, I think we should probably swing back around to AEW. Let's get to the talk of the town, SmackDown. Was week 2 or 3 for Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
Week 2 out of 3. He's got one more left before he goes back to Hollywood. And so they main evented SmackDown. And the week before, the week prior, they ran 40 minutes and everybody was complaining. Naomi doesn't even get an entrance, and this person got a short match, and blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. It's WrestleMania season. We're only going to have The Rock for a little bit of time. This is the hottest angle going in the sport of pro wrestling. If they want to take a fucking hour of a 2-hour show, they should be able to do it. But everybody bitched about it. They put him in the main event, and what happened? We had a speed round. I don't
Pretty
even think
much.
they I don't even think they got to everything they were supposed to get to. But I will say this.
Mm.
The Rock's new intro, god damn. That shit. That somebody said he was just practicing his new intro when he was doing Black Adam.
Hold up. I must have missed it. What happened with his intro?
You didn't see his new intro?
Uh-uh.
Oh my God. You got to go back and watch the SmackDown. So they filmed it, or they showed the camera from the opposite side of the ring, like at the entranceway, and all the lights go out. And as his music's playing, lightning bolts are coming down, like lighting the arena up, and you see a silhouette of him walking out. and it's just like 2 or 3 lightning bolts that come out, and it's like all you see is this fucking stature of the Rock, and then a spotlight comes down on him. He's just fucking standing there with his little vest on. It was dope. Me explaining it to you is not gonna be good. You need to go back and watch it.
I must have fell asleep a little bit, or maybe I fast forwarded to when they actually got in the ring. I gotta go back and check that out.
You can find it on Twitter because a lot of people were tweeting about it. But
Oh, sure.
speaking of tweets, I tweeted out a little bit before that Cody has to slap the dog shit out of the Rock. That was my exact tweet that I tweeted out. And lo and behold, Cody got his get back. The segment was good. There's a little bit of controversy in it, which we can talk about if you want. But Roman told Seth he was a cross dresser. And it's all over the internet. And people are Roman with a low blow, and why do you have to say that? And I get it. We're in sensitive times now. And saying that to somebody probably isn't the best. But also, Roman's been telling Seth he's been wearing his wife's clothes for like a year now, which is essentially the same fucking thing, is it not?
Yeah. And Roman's a heel. Wrestling is supposed to kind of mimic real life. What do you do when a bully talks crap? You got bullies out there that talk crap and you get your get back. He's a heel. Get over it.
Look, I'm very anti homophobia and homophobic type stuff, right? I don't think this was that. Calling somebody a cross dresser, so what?
I get it because they're saying, what's wrong with cross dressing? You're trying to use it as an insult. But like I said, he's a heel. Heels do dastardly stuff.
There's a lot of stuff he could have called him that he didn't, which thankfully he didn't. I don't want to be misquoted, but I don't know. I just think cross dressers way down the list of things for people to get offended about.
And then again, I guess you can't really tell people what to be offended by, but
Yeah, that's true.
sometimes it's real outrage and sometimes it's fake outrage.
I feel like this is leaning towards the fake, but like you said, you can't tell people what there ain't nothing that pisses me off more than a motherfucker telling me something ain't racist and I shouldn't be mad about it. So
Exactly.
yeah, I hear what you're saying. I guess I just rethought my whole fucking thinking on it just now. I didn't think it was that big a deal. Now I'm like, yeah, I guess I could see that.
Yeah, but it's levels to offense though. Come on. I mean, like I said, you can't tell what people to be offended by, but it's context too, man. Context is key.
Yeah, like I said, he's been telling the man he's wearing his wife's clothes for months now, and nobody said anything. It's just a different way of saying it. Then The Rock tells Cody he was a mistake. Woo, you can see it coming. You can see it coming. And I hate that they had to speed through it because I think what happened was The Rock got kind of just trying to get his shit in because apparently Cody's sister's only like 3 years apart from him. So I think what he was trying to say was you and your brother are 20 years apart.
Hold on. Doesn't he have a older sister though? Doesn't Dustin have like is him
Yeah.
no, but doesn't it's like 4 total, I thought.
Yeah.
So isn't
But
like
still, but The Rock said you and your siblings, so he was including everybody. I think he was just saying you and Dustin because Dustin's the only wrestler. But random, Cody actually talked to me about his sister cheering for the Dallas Cowboys when I met him at an ROH show here, which I've always said if you ever do a meet and greet and you get to see Cody, Cody will talk to you. Like he will take time and he will make you feel like you're the only fucking person standing there. And I had a Dallas Cowboys hat on and we had a fucking 5-minute conversation about the Cowboys and his sister cheering for them and all that. And he's always got the longest line and he spends the most time with him. So I will, because I'm probably going to shit on Cody later, but I will say that if you ever have a chance to meet Cody, do it because he's genuinely one of those people that love talking to the fans. And it's not just a give me your money and get the fuck out of here.
hey, shout out to Cody for that. But hey, Rock was putting him in a blender on SmackDown.
Yeah, well, Rock got the shit slapped out of him too.
That's crazy. I wonder what the production meeting backstage. I wonder who suggested. I wonder if Rocky suggested. Ain't nobody gonna suggest The Rock. He had to suggest that.
Oh, you know, when The Rock slapped Cody, he's like, "Don't worry about it. You'll get your shit back."
Yeah.
Like we're gonna. They done made a T-shirt of The Rock slapping Cody. Like they got all kind of shit on WWE Shop.
Man,
So
that's
I'm pretty
crazy.
sure. I'm pretty sure The Rock was like, "Don't worry about it. You and slapped the shit out of me too." Like he even took his glasses off for you. You could see it was coming.
You gotta love the business. With he's worth 300, $400 million, and he's still willing to get slapped on national TV, Fox. That's crazy. So shout
Not
out to
for
The Rock.
nothing. Not for nothing. What you just said is a big deal too. Like all these people hating on The Rock. The Rock doesn't have to be doing this. Like
At all.
Cody, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, they have to be doing this. The Rock doesn't have to. This motherfucker just released a men's skincare line on Sunday, right? At Target. I said, well, shit, I'm gonna go up there and check it out. Cause he said everything is under $10. You got fucking body wash, you got face cleanser, you got toner. He had like tattoo cream, deodorant, like all kind of shit, right, EJ?
Mhm.
It comes out Sunday at Target. I'm gonna go check it out. Me and my daughter went bowling. I took her back to her mom's house. It was probably 2 o'clock. I get to Target, wiped out. Completely.
Dang.
Completely gone. This is in Marietta, Georgia. This ain't even Atlanta. And then I see him doing a video in New York City. You don't think that this guy doesn't have to do this? Everything he fucking touches sells out.
And from what the IWC tells you, that nobody wants him to be around, and he sucks.
EJ, you go to the gym, you work out. I don't
Indeed.
know about your gym, but I go to Crunch Fitness up here. 50% of the fucking muscle bound dudes up here, they're wearing Team Bring It shit. They're
Really.
whatever it's called, Project Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfuckers will be in there from head to toe with Brahma Bull stuff on them. $50 shirt, $75 pants, $130 shoes just to go work out in. You think The Rock needs to be a wrestler? The guy doing it for the love of the game.
I know, right? So hats off to The Rock. But I don't know, man. It's probably not that much of a hot take, but I feel like Cody and Seth have been getting cooked every week. I mean, I feel like they're saying the same stuff every week. Is Cody and Seth a little bit overrated on the mic?
I feel Cody definitely is.
It seems a little corny, man. Like it ain't for
Yeah,
me.
we've talked about this, and I'm definitely agreeing with you. You putting The Rock and Roman Reigns, and Roman hadn't even got his shit in yet. Like it's really been all The Rock. I mean, Cody and Seth got to release like a 20-minute Instagram video if they want to keep up because every fucking Friday now Rock's fucking cooking them. um, but I thought Seth was probably the MVP of Friday night. And honestly, the only reason why was because they didn't have enough time for Rock and Roman to kind of do their thing. But I thought this was the most depth that I've seen Seth Rollins display in a long time.
He say Rock was going through a midlife crisis. Was that this past Friday?
I laughed so hard when he said that shit.
I
Because I mean,
mean,
Rock is a fucking 51-year-old man standing up there in a bedazzled vest with baby oil all over him. Like something's clearly off with this nigga, right?
ain't that kind of the calling the kettle black? Hey, Seth, you pushing 40 and look what you wearing.
Yeah, it's different. 50. That's different than over 50, though.
True.
But I mean, then again, like, who's to tell you what you can do with 50? Like, Rock looks better than I do, and I'm only 40.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's in incredible shape. He's a millionaire. Like, what's he supposed to be wearing? New Balances and a fucking and big ass gym shorts like Adam Sandler?
Yeah. The Rock ain't your daddy's 50. Guy's jacked out of his world. Yeah. What do you want to wear? Like khakis. and some nice Steph Curry dad shoes.
While we're on the subject of Seth, if you're done with SmackDown,
Hmm.
can we talk about this past Monday night with Seth and Drew McIntyre?
Yeah,
I
what
hope
about it?
I hope Drew McIntyre squashes Seth Rollins at WrestleMania.
Mm, I
I
don't
hope he beats him in 8 seconds, like Sheamus did Daniel Bryan.
I don't see that happening.
I don't see it happen, but I want it to.
Why?
As the world champion, you all Seth Rollins has talked about is how he wants this title to be more important than Roman Reigns' title, right? But what is he doing? He's not even concerning himself with his world title match at WrestleMania. You have a world title match at WrestleMania, and you're gonna tell this man, I ain't worried about my back. I'm more focused on The Rock. I'm more focused on Roman. I'm more focused on Cody. I'm more focused on my knee. You like way down the list. You're shitting on your own title. Drew McIntyre should be up here. I've said it all along. Why is Seth Rollins even involved in this? This has nothing to do with him.
Wasn't he going in on the bloodline when he got the belt? He was like, "You're not here to defend it, or you holding this
I,
show for hostage."
I don't give a fuck. Seth is a world champion on his show. He has nothing to do with the bloodline. He's got nothing to do with. He don't owe Cody nothing. Fuck Cody. Cody ain't got no world title. You know how many times Cody's been world champion in WWE? Zero.
Right? So many times he was a world champion across the street too.
So why does Seth give a fuck? Like, why are you concerning yourself with that? And Drew, look, I'm not the biggest Drew fan. Drew been cooking lately. The way he shut them up when they were chanting what to him was so good.
You got
Everything.
you kind of got to do him and Punk at SummerSlam, right?
Oh yeah, he's got whoop Punk's ass too.
I don't
I'm
think that's
sorry,
gonna
Punk
happen.
got whoop his ass.
Yeah,
Punk gotta come see about that motherfucker. He's been talking so much shit about Punk for so long. But he was so good and he was so right. Like, Seth is a hypocrite because he told Drew, you need to let the bloodline go. You need to quit worrying about the bloodline. And now look at Seth. What is he doing? Oh, we got to stop the bloodline. Shut the fuck up.
hey, don't they say the best heel is the one that actually makes sense and tells the truth?
Hmm. That's Drew McIntyre right now.
There you go. But that'd be interesting if he did squash him, but I don't see that. Seth was just working house shows this past weekend, right?
Was he? I didn't see that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, him and Cody were, I think, tagged up. So, he's getting prepped and that knee ready to go. What happens after WrestleMania? I don't know. I can only imagine he wanted to take some time off the fully heel, right?
I wish they would quit putting Thea Hill on TV.
Well, I think she's funny, especially when she tries to mimic JC Jane.
I mean, I watch NXT on mute. So them putting her on here just makes me feel like a creepy old man.
Oh, talk about that context. She's like 19 or 20.
I just said I wish they would stop because I feel like a creepy old man.
All right, you took it into a whole different direction. I thought you gonna say like her character work ain't there. You talk
Oh
about
no,
her.
she's fucking hilarious. Like, she's really good. But when I'm watching it on mute when we're doing this, all I see is what she's wearing.
Okay, let's get back on track here.
Right. Let's get Jason Jane on TV or somebody of age.
How much longer we have to WrestleMania? Like 3 weeks?
4 week. We got less than 40 days.
That's a lot of time in between now and WrestleMania. So I like wonder what Drew's gonna go with next. Cause I feel like even though he has been good, they're doing the same formula with him coming out doing the promo. Like they interchange either him or Cody coming out. Kind of same promo. Like I kind of want to see him do something even more dastardly as far as Drew goes. Maybe beat Seth down. Because he was teasing it, but like the heel move, you tease it, don't give the crowd what they want.
I don't want to see him beat Seth down. I want to see him just beat him at WrestleMania. You
Okay.
know, I'm not one of the people that are like, Drew got robbed of his moment because of COVID and all that. I think that's bullshit because everybody had to go through it. But if you're telling me he got robbed and that's the story you want to tell, then have him beat the fuck out of Seth Rollins at WrestleMania in front of 60,000 people. Because the last time he was in front of that many people, Bobby Lashley put his ass to sleep. Gunter pinned his ass.
I know, right? But he kicked out in the days though. Give him that. Huh? Huh? No.
Don't be disrespecting the NXT Tag Team Champion like that. What did Baron Corbin do to catch them strays?
Nothing, but you act like he didn't have any type of WrestleMania moment in between. That was his WrestleMania moment, kicking out at end of days. There you have it.
When did he do that?
So not last year, the one in between Lashley and
Who did he wrestle then? Just Baron? One on
yeah, this
one?
is one on one. That's an interesting match to put one on one though. Matter of fact, that was the one you went to. Maybe it was the night you didn't go to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kicking out at the end of the days too. It sucks that I don't remember that because that's like end of the days is a protective finishing move.
Yeah, they did statistically. It was like to that point, nobody kicked out of it.
I thought they were doing that so Roman could kick out. I don't think he ever did.
Well, maybe he was supposed to before COVID hit, but uh Baron Corbin said like I think he was doing a behind the scenes or like a shoot type interview, and he was like, "If I know I'm not going over, I just won't do it." That's how his mentality is behind it.
I like Baron Corbin.
Man, I'm curious to see what's gonna happen with him now that Breaker is up at SmackDown and whatnot.
Roxy Perez out here trying to be a heel. She put on some black Doc Martens.
That's funny. Yeah, Roxy. I'm curious to see how that shakes out because people
Uh,
are hot and cold on like Lyra here.
Visually, I like her as a heel a lot more. She looks more believable as a heel.
And the face, she's looking a little.
Just her get up. She's dressed in darker clothes. Um, she's looking at the camera while she's talking. I don't know what she's saying, but I believe it.
Hey, let's see what she does with it.
Yeah.
Give it a
Now
ball.
when I watch it and I hear her voice, maybe I won't think the same thing. But just looking at it now, like on in the background, I like I don't know, I like the look. I think she might be better as a heel.
Hey, we'll see what she does with it. I'm not mad at it.
Speaking of roads to WrestleMania, let's talk about Becky Lynch.
Yeah, let's talk about Miss Lynch.
She defeated Liv Morgan last night in what I thought was probably I didn't see all of the gauntlet match, but for my money, for what I did see last night, was the match of the night. Her and Liv Morgan. Um,
Liv's best match ever.
a lot of people say that when they wrestle Becky Lynch.
I know. That's why I said it.
Uh, let's talk about the crowd reaction first, because I've been paying attention to this for a while now, and I feel like Becky's in a place now where you have all these new toys, and Becky's like the old. You remember the movie Toy Story when they threw Woody to the side when Buzz Lightyear got there? I feel like Rhea is Buzz Lightyear and Becky's Woody.
Yeah, it's a perfect way to analyze it, actually.
Yeah, she's been unreliable for years now. But now all of a sudden Rhea Ripley comes and she's got this black lipstick and she's got Judgment Day, she's got Dominic, and she's got the cool entrance and she's got the little fucking garters that make her cheeky a little bit more. Like she's got that, she got the whole package. She doesn't wrestle a lot. She doesn't have really good matches, but she's got whatever it is to make the fans cheer for. And I feel like Becky is more like I feel like people have the response of like, yeah, we've seen this already.
Yeah, it's been pretty lukewarm, but maybe it's because you got the weird situation where it's face versus heel that the fans want to cheer. And if it was anybody else, people would be going crazy for Becky. Like imagine if it was her against Io Sky. You don't think it might be a little bit different?
I don't know. You saw what happened with Bianca when she went up against EO.
Yeah, wasn't that overseas?
Yeah, but it was also this is about to be a WrestleMania crowd in Philly. That's about the same damn thing.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't want to hate on Rhea because obviously she has something that the fans like, but I feel like her rise to
Overrated,
popularity. Go ahead.
overrated.
Yeah. I just feel like her rise to popularity is just interesting, especially the way how Becky did. Because when Becky came up, bloody face, even before that, she was getting over with the fans, and then she just kicked ass. I feel like Rhea hasn't really been doing anything except trotting out there with Dom. She hasn't really been wrestling like that or like kicking ass. I mean, she body slammed a dude once in a while. Maybe that's what fans like.
Let's be real. When it comes to Rhea, her popularity is mainly aesthetic.
But I guess people are into the goth look.
They're into the goth look. They're into the woman being a Dom look, even though she's with Dom. And like wrestling fans are just like, oh, a goth girl that's hot. We love her. Because if you look at her body of work since she's won the world title, she had a good match with Nia.
Yeah,
And she won the match against Charlotte at WrestleMania.
that's
Right? That's
two
been
in that's two in 1 year.
that's been almost a year. You can't name a good Rhea Ripley match besides that. I can go down to Trish, Zoe Stark,
Liar.
Lyra Valkyrie, two times with Tiffany Stratton,
Mhm.
Liv Morgan. The list just keeps going when you talk about how many dope matches Becky's had in the past year. But I feel like the crowd is like, cool, you wrestled, but look at my shiny new toy with the laser beams on it. Like we've been watching you wrestle good matches for years, Woody. But now we got Buzz Lightyear. Like he's got Star Command.
But I mean, is it that much of a surprise though? Because what the fans and what we praise WWE for is storyline and character driven television. So can you get mad when they're going towards Rhea and it's like we don't really put a huge focus on like whatever's going on in the ring? That's kind of like a bonus if they
But
could
give
go.
me something in the ring. You're the champion. What's the point of her having the belt if she's not going to wrestle? Like, at least when Roman wrestles, he puts on great matches that you remember.
It's been a little formulaic. He's not bad. He's a good worker, but I feel like it's been a little formulaic. In the
Great
beginning when
match.
he stacked
Okay,
edges.
since WrestleMania last year, he had a great match with Cody.
Yeah, that was good.
Great tag team match against the Usos.
I can't remember it.
The Usos beat him overseas.
I remember what happened. I can't remember the actual like the action in that match.
Great match against Jay Uso. Besides the
Eh,
clusterfuck finish, the finish fucked that match up. I thought that match was really good.
but I get what
Carried
you're saying. I don't want to
carried
go too.
LA Knight to a good match.
No,
I think the worst match he's had since WrestleMania last year was that 4-way at Royal Rumble.
yeah, I don't want to get too far off track, but I mean, what Roman barely wrestles and he's still like one of the hottest things. That's what I'm saying. Like it's
Rhea
more character and stuff.
rarely wrestles though, but
Huh?
when she does, you don't remember her wrestling. That's my
Maybe she's not your cup of tea, and maybe she has some matches that we forgot about.
EJ. Come on, man, you know me. Whether I like you or I don't, if you have a good match and I watch it, I'm gonna say you had a good match. Rhea hasn't had any memorable matches. The only memorable match she's had besides the Charlotte match at WrestleMania was against Nia. And honestly, it's because they were in Australia.
I like the her versus Zelina,
And where were they?
Puerto Rico.
Whose hometown is in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, the location has been playing a factor. The ones that you remember.
She can't go to fucking Boise, Idaho and have a memorable match like Becky and Liv did last night.
That's true. Like you said, this might be the shiny new toy theory, but I don't know. I feel like Becky's heel turn when she came back. I don't know why they did that. I feel like a weird move and
Mm.
it's kind of a momentum stopper a little bit.
I thought you were going somewhere else, and I thought we were about to be on the same page. I feel like they should turn Becky heel right now.
I think that's the move and the kind of what they're trying to pivot her off to do. I was going to ask you that in a second. So she seems like she's taking the hardest path to WrestleMania. She just got into a bomb burner with Liv. Now she's about to, what is it going to, I Quit, or last woman standing match next week?
Yep.
Are they setting her up where now she kind of has like a built-in excuse if Rhea beats her, and then she could be like, well, I've been busting my ass for these fans, and y'all ain't respect me like that, and kind of
Yeah.
pivot towards a heel turn?
If you go back to when Becky first turned heel against Charlotte at SummerSlam 2018, she cut a promo the following SmackDown that would be perfect for right now.
What is that?
She basically talked about the fans not backing her. And at the time, the fans were like, wait a minute, motherfucker, that's bullshit. Like, even as she was shitting on the fans, they were still cheering her because everybody loved Becky back then. But she's been, like you said, kind of lukewarm. If you go back and watch that promo, it would be perfect for the night after WrestleMania if she was to turn heel on Rhea. If she was to say everything, not everything, because Charlotte was involved in it, but the gist of it as far as the fans go, if she was to say that about them this time, it would fit a lot more than it did at the time.
So I don't think you could go back to like big time Bex. Why don't they just do it's like a cold blooded like Kill Bill type heel character?
Yeah, honestly, the man. What they wanted the man to be, but she ended up being a face. Just go back to being a fucking badass wrestler that ain't taking no shit from anybody, that's still cheating to win. You come out, you talk all the shit about how great you are, and you still grab the ropes to pin people. You still fucking try to get counted out on purpose, right? Like you're still a piece of shit, but you tell everybody you're great. That'd be phenomenal.
Hey, I'm all for it. I wonder if they're gonna do a shake up, roster shake up, or draft. What they usually interchange those name wise. That'd be interesting to see things get shaken up. Becky on SmackDown, maybe.
Nah, she ain't going anywhere to Seth ain't at.
Well, Seth on SmackDown. During this whole run, now that SmackDown's going to USA, do you have to have Roman on SmackDown now? Why not put him on Raw? He's been on SmackDown since he came back.
I don't know. I always I know it's been years since it's happened, but I always put Becky on SmackDown. She was the first SmackDown Women's Champion, and I felt like she just fit on SmackDown way better than she did. Like the look of SmackDown with Becky Lynch on it looked better to me. So her going to Raw, I never really liked. Even her winning I mean, the titles look different now, but I always thought the blue title looked better on her than the red title did, even though they were exactly the same. And one was blue, one was red. I just always attributed her better to SmackDown. So I wouldn't be mad at her going back to SmackDown.
But I also I always like associate Seth being with Raw though for some reason.
Mm. Yeah, and
Like,
Roman with SmackDown.
yeah, especially Tribal Chief Roman. I know when he was the big dog, he did a lot of Raw, didn't he?
I used to SmackDown he was SmackDown when they did that dog food shit with Baron Corbin.
True. But yeah.
Actually, I think when they went back to the brand split, Roman's been SmackDown specific.
So they did the brand split to 2016 when they got that Universal belt.
Oh,
And
he was Universal Champion on Raw for like 3 months.
mhm,
Cancer came back. So he was probably on Raw for maybe 2 years since then, at the most.
yeah, I'm saying the whole Tribal Chief definitely been
Oh
SmackDown.
yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a while though, but I don't know. Netflix, they're probably gonna want Roman on Raw,
Excuse me.
paying what, billions of dollars? Bring your ass over here. But yeah, man. Yeah, go ahead, turn Becky heel. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Uh, let's see where we going next. Let's do power rankings. What do you think?
Okay. I know last week we gave it all up to Sting, and I think I went first because I said that was the only one on my power ranking.
Well, this week I'll go first. My number 5 is none other than the Wolf Dogs,
Wolf
Baron
Dogs.
Corbin and Braun Breaker. Defended their tag team titles last week on NXT. Came away with the victory. The Wolf Dog.
Who they face against last week? I
What's
watched it.
Thea Hell's group.
Oh yeah, Chase U.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your number 5. My number 5 is the woman that was a subject we just talked about, Becky Lynch.
Hmm.
Like you said, it's probably Liv's best match ever. I don't ever heard you talk about a Liv match when it's not a Becky Lynch match, but that's how good Becky is.
Last night I was watching that match, EJ, and I wanted to text you, but I didn't. And I wanted to text you 2 words. You're right.
I told you. I don't say shit just to say shit.
I like Liv. She kind of reminds me of Becky back in the day because she wasn't the most natural in the ring. Like, I remember I used the example years ago. When a wrestler runs the ropes, they might take 8 steps to get from one side to the other, and it always took Becky 9. Like, there was just a certain awkwardness in it. With Liv, it's like there's a certain slowness to everything she does, especially running the ropes. Like, it just, I noticed it last night. Like, it took her so long, but she at the same time was pulling out like moves I'd never seen her do before. So it's like you got to take the good with the bad. And I don't know, man. I like Liv. There's something about her that makes me cheer for her. Obviously, I wasn't cheering for her last night, but to see her have a good match like that, I was digging. But I also noticed what you were talking about, where you just don't see it. And I could see that if you don't like her, those things I'm talking about probably stand out a little bit more.
I mean, y'all like her because he's pretty. Let's just
I'll
call
say
it is what it is.
y'all.
The collective view.
I mean, she's not hard to look at, but that's like they got a lot of women that ain't hard to look at. They don't give a shit about.
And true. And I'm not trying to be sexist because there was wrestlers in the 90s on the men's side of things where y'all just like this dude because he's got big muscles.
Hmm.
Can't
Yeah.
work a bit. But I don't want to trash the girl too much. She's just not my cup of tea. And if she changes her character, I might be all in. If she's just knocking it out the park character wise, and like she's not bad in the ring.
What
But
happened to Dominatrix Liv? Did they make her stop doing when Rhea came along?
maybe they like can't have a clash of gimmicks.
Remember after the lesbian gimmick with her and Lana, she went to like a all black leather outfit she was wearing, and she was like, was that before or after she did the bathtub thing?
I don't know what happened. Was that? Are you talking about a different part? Where remember she was doing like almost the hardcore stuff for a little bit,
Yeah.
like the with the weapons and
Yeah, she was
capes and
dressed in
stuff.
all black, and this was after the Lana stuff. And that was when I first started like paying attention to her. I was like, damn, Liv Morgan, all right. Even when she beat Ronda a couple times, like I was with her then. But yeah, I see what you're talking about. And I see that if you're not a fan of hers, that kind of stuff would she's polarizing.
Definitely, but like I said, I'm not stubborn, so she could do something out of the box that'll get me to change my thoughts on her. Like I don't hate her, but like I don't see what the big deal is. People online are drooling over her like she's the next best thing since sliced bread. But I don't want to go too much off on a tangent. My number 4, a match that you attended, House of Black against the Briscoes, Jeff Jarrett, and who else was in there? Oh, Jay Lethal. House of Black is my number 4 in that hardcore match. Was it fun in person?
I have the video of them trying to light the table on fire.
Oh,
And
word?
yeah, I was just looking through my videos the other day, and That was a fun match. I tell you, we'll talk about it later when we get to Rucker being all elite, but Julia Hart has a dope entrance in person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you saw it at Revolution.
Uh,
All the fire and shit she has when she comes out.
I don't know if I was in the bathroom when she came out.
Yeah, because you'd remember it. Um, but yeah, that was a pretty good match. I saw a lot of good wrestling this week.
Did
Uh,
you?
yeah, my number four would be. hmm, I think I'm gonna go with Sami Zayn.
Dang, that's my number three.
Yeah, Sami Zayn, he gets the Intercontinental title shot against Gunther. He runs the gauntlet. And my number three will be your number four, which is Becky Lynch.
Yeah. Well, you already said my number three. Sami Zayn run the gauntlet. I don't, Sami Zayn seems like he's in a interesting place. He main evented WrestleMania last year. Then he just ran the gauntlet. I don't see him beating Gunther, so I don't know. Like, where did Sam even go from there?
Where's KO even go? He main evented WrestleMania 2 years
That's
in a
that's another thing. And I feel like they're just floating. That I know AEW is full of talent, but I'd be interested to see how like a Sami Zayn or KO would do over there. But they AEW needs to close their doors. They got enough talent. But I digress. Uh, my number two is Jordan Grace. She defended her women's knockout championship in a triple threat against Zaya Brookside
I like Zaya Brookside.
and our girl Tasha Steele on their like not pay-per-view, but their like special event this past weekend.
Yeah, they had two of them, didn't they?
Yeah,
Am
they
I
had
correct?
one like they had like the week before last, and they like double back, and I think this one was Sacrifice. I might be mixing them up. This past,
Yeah,
I
you
watched
can't
the
keep up
whole
with
thing. Yeah, it's crazy.
the more would never, you know.
But yeah,
um, that's a good one. I honestly didn't catch any TNA last week because I was all elite last week. Where am I at? My number two? I'm gonna give it to my boy DB or BD, Brian Danielson. You know, he beat my guy Shane Taylor. Uh, your boy was all over that match. And I'm really mad that they didn't get the fist bump with me and Shane Taylor because he was whooping Brian's ass outside the ring, and I was the only one cheering for him. So him and Lee Moriarty were interacting with me a lot right then for like those 3 minutes, and he did something to fucking Brian. I think he threw him into the steps, and I was like, "My guy!" And I stuck my fist out, and he walked by and fist bumped me. I'm like, "I know that shit's on TV." It wasn't.
they must have like turned the camera to Danielson when that happened.
Yeah, they were filming like from they weren't filming the crowd. They were filming Ed Danielson against the steps, and you can see Taylor do his hand like that. It happens real fast. I know it because I was there, but it happened so fast. But you don't see me at all. But I was thinking, I'm all over that shit with that one. Like he gave me a fist bump on the front row. Shit.
Hey, real recognized real. But yeah, that was a fun match too.
Oh yeah, that was fun to watch. He was slapping the dog shit out. Daniel Bryan's chest had so many what do you call it when blood pops
Well,
on
blood
again?
vessel welts,
It's a
burst
name,
blood vessels.
but whatever. He had a bunch of them, and it was just like big red marks, like all, and the sound. The one he did where he took Daniel Bryan's chin and then pushed it in my chest and slapped him. EJ, that shit was so loud. The girl, two people down from me, she was like,
I saw that. Yeah, she looked like she was appalled or shocked.
well, he was slapping the shit out of Daniel Bryan. And we'll get to my stuff at AEW, but they put on really good shows. But yeah, Brian's my second, and am I doing my number one too,
Yeah,
or
you're number one.
the number Osprey?
Yeah.
What else can you say? We watched them at Revolution. We didn't give him any credit for Revolution because we gave everything to Sting.
Mm-hmm.
Match he had with Takeshita. We talked about it on the walk to the bar after.
Mm-hmm.
I always said that Seth Rollins and Finn Balor was my probably the best match I'd ever seen live. This one's up there.
And then double back on Dynamite, you saw him and Fletcher, right?
Him and Kyle Fletcher fucking killed it. Uh, I called into the Wade Keller Pro Wrestling podcast after on my way home.
Mm-hmm.
Wade's not a fan of the style, excuse me, that Osprey wrestles, and I told him, I said, I'm kind of like you, Wade. I'm more of a Roman Reigns style of a match guy. Like I like a story. I like the action, but I like the story inside of a match, the selling, the shit talking, right? All of that. But when it comes to Will Osprey, was it Stephen A. Smith? So we don't care. We do not care. When it comes to Will Osprey in person, this motherfucker is so good. So good. Like, I don't give a fuck about Kyle Fletcher. I did Wednesday night.
So Will Ospreay is my number one too. But what do you think separates Ospreay? Because pretty much everybody says he's probably the best in-ring guy in the world. But like, what sets him apart from a Ricochet who could probably do the same things as him physically?
He gets pushed to do it. If they push Ricochet to have matches like that, he could. And Ricochet could probably be over as fucking WWE.
It's just the style, the different style, the company, I guess.
It's just the booking.
Mm.
They push Osprey to be that guy. They don't push uh Will, I'm not Will, Ricochet to be that guy.
Like, wasn't him coming into NXT Ricochet? Like, I remember he was a big free agent yet because of Prince Puma stuff.
Yeah.
Like people were saying he was like up there, the best wrestler in the world, and I feel like kind of settled into being the guy you could go to wherever you need to plug in.
I also think Ricochet is a little bit smaller than Osprey.
That's another, yeah, you're
And
right.
I feel like Osprey on the mic is better than Ricochet.
Definitely.
In the ring, I fucking if you told me Ricochet and Osprey were having a match within 100 miles of me, I'd go see it. And I knew they were going to get 30 minutes to fucking do it, I would go see that match. I don't think I'm so glad you brought up Ricochet because just thinking about it, I don't think there's anybody that could have a match with Osprey like Ricochet could. They would fucking destroy it.
Yeah, look at the match with Ricochet and even a Logan Paul.
I mean, I love Bryan Danielson, and I think him and Ricochet are going to kill it. I mean, not Ricochet,
Osprey.
Osprey are going to kill it. But you tell me I'm getting Ricochet and Will Osprey in a 30-minute match? Shit, sign me up.
We might get it. I think Osprey might try to test at WWE after this AEW contract. I might just be talking on my ass though.
That was a great fucking comparison, though. You just came up with. I would have never thought to talk about Ricochet and Osprey, but yeah. Besides about 25 pounds and a couple inches of height and mic work, they pretty much are the same guy.
He just named two big things though. A little bit of height and then
Yeah,
Mike.
yeah.
Bro. Hey man. I was saying that I don't know if I was going to that St. Louis show. I don't know if I could pass up Danielson and Osprey, man. I'm on the fence. Now I'm like 50-50. I was like 90% not going, but let's see what else they announced for it. But I digress. That's it for the power rankings, though, right?
Yep.
What
That
we
is
got?
it. Power rankings. Now, next up on the docket, we can talk Rucker is all elite.
Yeah, so 3 shows in like a 7-8 day span. That's crazy.
No, 3 shows in like a 5-day span.
Oh yeah,
It
because it was
was
Thursday. Yeah, it was
Sunday,
Thursday.
Wednesday, Thursday.
I bet you all wrestling out now.
Bro, when I called in the Wade Keller show, he was like, "Are you going to the show tomorrow?" I was like, "I can't do it." I was like, I'm like, I love going to AEW shows, but it's so much." But woke up Thursday and got online and saw that there were front row tickets available. And I told my boy Joey, I said, the only way I would go to both shows is if we got to sit front row on one of them. And we weren't thinking front row like center fucking camera being right there the whole night. We were thinking like somewhere else front row. So we buy the tickets and we go sit down and it was phenomenal. Um,
How'd you get those tickets?
I literally just got online and those were what was available on front row. Somebody had them and didn't want them and they resold them. And honestly, they weren't that expensive.
Dang. Because I look on, maybe I'm looking at the wrong website. I look on Ticketmaster, the resale Ticketmaster. And
Yeah.
I could like I don't ever find like front row tickets.
Well, you also have to think that they were in Atlanta 2 nights in a row.
Okay.
So the person that had them, honestly, the person that had them probably went to Revolution and probably did Dynamite the night before and was probably just like me and was like, nah, fuck this. And more than likely, they sat front row at one or two of those shows.
Yeah, that sounds about
Now,
right.
I will say this. When we got the front row tickets and I saw that Tony Storm was advertised, I thought, this is phenomenal. I'm going to get to see Tony Storm up close. Uh, and where we were sitting on Dynamite,
Uh,
we were the last seats right at the ramp, right where she was on Thursday night for Collision.
ah,
So we had perfect seats on Wednesday for where she was. But on Thursday, we were in the front row. She never made it past like the steps over there. I never fucking saw her. I'm really upset that Sky Blue wasn't there. Uh, who else? Obviously, Sting wasn't there because he was fucking gone. But Sky Blue and Tony Storm probably my biggest regrets that weren't there. I wasn't a fan of the Statlander and Riho match, but you know, it is what it is.
I thought that match was really good.
Yeah, but I was there and I wanted to see women that I liked, and I don't like either one of them.
Ah, come on,
They
Rio's
could
the
have
lovable.
they could have gave me some red velvet. They could have gave me some sky blue. They could have gave me some Tony Storm. It was cool seeing Mariah May wrestle. Uh, and not for nothing, I got to see Kira Hogan, Lady Frost, one of the Renegade twins, and another lady whose name I'm forgetting who it was. I saw them for ROH.
No Athena, huh?
Athena wrestled also. She wrestled. I got to see her in the front row. She kicked ass. She beat the dog shit out of the woman she wrestled. And I got a little selfie with Kira Hogan, which was cool. But it was just fun, man, sitting on the floor. I don't like that arena and how far away it is, but I won't complain about that. But this was fun. Um, Edge coming out 2 nights in a row. I'm not the biggest Edge guy, but when he appears in the arena, the
People go,
energy changes.
people go crazy.
Like he's a star. Osprey came out both nights. Brian Danielson came out. Like I said, that match with Shane Taylor was phenomenal. Um, Watching Okada come out and turn on Eddie Kingston, and then how he didn't make my power rankings. I'm mad at myself. This motherfucker won a 6-man tag team match by itself.
Yeah, we got to talk about that before we go more into your experience there. That's happened since the last time we talked. Okada is now elite. I mean, it was a worst kept secret in wrestling, besides probably the debut that's gonna happen tomorrow. But I don't know. What were your thoughts on it in general?
I'm mad that I got online before going there because everybody spoiled it. But I will say this: if you go to a show and you kind of like are in the moment and just having fun, I had no idea he was coming out when he came out. When I heard that fucking coin drop, I was like, oh shit. I forgot Okada's supposed to debut tonight. And then when he turned on Eddie Kingston, I was like, perfect.
I didn't know he was even gonna debut that night before I saw Marty spoil it for me in the Discord.
Yeah, I mean, it was all over Twitter. Like, I actually tweeted one of the websites that I follow, and I was like, I'm gonna be there tonight. It would have been great if I wouldn't have saw this. And they tweeted me back and they were like, sorry to fuck it up, but like it's been everywhere. Like we have to cover it. I'm like,
Do you
do
know?
you know? Right? Like, what are we doing? Like a spoiler and news are two different things.
Yeah. It's literally a spoiler if it doesn't happen yet.
You can tell me afterwards, like, okay,
Yeah.
Okada signed this day and give me all the news after. You don't have to tell, oh, yo, Okada's gonna be in Atlanta tonight. That's not news, it's a spoiler.
Literally, it's a spoiler. But whatever. Like you said, you didn't know when it was gonna happen. How did the arena go crazy when they heard that coin?
So it's probably a 6,000 seat arena. There's probably 3,000 people there. It was literally from the floor all the way up on literally half the arena,
Mm.
and the other side was empty. Um,
The hard cam side?
yeah, I don't know how it came through on Dynamite because I haven't went back and watched, but that fucking crowd was live. Like they were loud, they were cheering. Like it was fun to be there. Um, Talking to some of the people that were around us. There was a guy with a Jim Cornette shirt on in front of me, and he was like a know-it-all. Like he stood there with his arms crossed the whole time, and I was like, I'd be talking to my buddy Joey, and EJ, I don't know if we've been to live events together, but I don't know if we've ever sat together.
I
I
don't
do a
think
lot
so.
of like out loud talking just to myself, and I'm just like, why the fuck is this happening? And he'd be like, oh, well, his contract is up next month. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm talking about the show. And he looked like he wasn't having fun. He was just there to be the guy that knew everything.
Man, shut up, man.
And I wanted to ask him, you ever had any pussy?
Well, Rucker, I'm allergic to it actually.
I really wanted to ask him, but I left it alone because I think I knew the answer. Um,
You have a little neck beard?
no, he was bald. He had glasses on. He was just like he I'm not gonna talk about it, but there was another older white guy in front of us, and he fucking loved my commentary. Like he kept turning around to me, like laughing at the shit I was saying. But I'm not like doing it for everybody else. I'm in the moment. Like I'm just saying shit because I'm watching wrestling. I ain't got a girl there with me. I'm like letting myself go, like being in it.
Uh-huh.
And it was fun. I don't think I offended anybody like I probably did at Royal Rumble a couple years ago, but fuck them. Um, booed the shit out of Jericho. I did offend people because they were singing the Judas song, and as soon as it got quiet, I said, fuck Judas and Jericho. People turned around and look at me, and I said, who can beat me up?
Asshole Rucker. I saw it on TV too. You booing him.
Yes. I saw it too.
I'm not a Jericho fan, so I'm not gonna go against you on that one, but still, you
Yeah,
don't want to be
fuck.
that guy at the show.
Oh yeah, I did. I wanted to.
um, I'm not gonna lie, man. It was distracting seeing you throughout the whole collision.
What I do? I was just sitting there.
I know, and it was distracting. I'm like, man, I did see you leave during the it was a Nick Wayne match. I don't know what happened to you during that.
I was trying to holler at Mama Wayne.
Oh, that explains it.
Yeah.
And I
Mama
think,
Wayne's sexy as hell in real, like in person. Mama Wayne's sexy.
man,
Tall, voluptuous.
I'm surprised Nick Wayne is that skinny. I feel like he had to bulk up to be fighting dudes off when he was growing up.
Yeah. Got a grown kid already and still looking that good. Mama Wayne's sexy. You can kiss my ass if you mad at that.
And I think even for I didn't see you for a little bit during the main event.
Yeah, I had a lot of bathroom breaks.
Oh.
One time I was coming back, and so I was telling my girlfriend, I said, when I go to shows, it's like I have a magnet on me and wrestlers just come to me, right? First night we go, Ryan Cage literally walks behind us and takes the fucking guardrail that's behind us. Like in the video I have, there's nothing behind us. It's just Brian Cage taking that. The next night, I have the thing with Shane Taylor and Daniel Bryan. And then I'm going to the bathroom and I'm coming back, and security's like, where's your seat at? And I was like, it's in the front row. He was like, you either need to go right now or you need to stay where you are. I said,
Oh,
well, shit.
snap.
I look down and I see a camera call. I said, well, I'm gonna stay right here. You know what happens? Edge attacks Christian right there.
Right in
And
front of you, huh?
yeah, I'm sending these videos to my girlfriend. I was like, I told you, I'm like a fucking magnet. And Dez from Talkamania, he always, like years ago, he would always say, like, you get the luckiest fucking seats. So like, either John Moxley will walk right by me or Jericho and the MJF have fought past me like 2 or 3 times. Like it's always on for some reason AEW shows more than WWE. Like the wrestlers just kind of find where I am and I get lucky with it. So it was fun, man. It was a lot of fun. If AEW comes to your town, whether you're a WWE tribal person or not, I would go see it. The tickets aren't expensive, and it's fun. It really is. It's fun to just be with the neckbeards and shit like that, and let everybody go crazy and cheer for wrestling. Like we all like the same shit, even though we're different, right? Like,
Yeah. So this ties in to you going to AEW, and they had a really good week. Revolution, everybody gave it rave reviews. And their follow-up episode, the Dynamite, I thought that was really good. And you went in person, you thought it was good as well. Even the Collision was strong Collision.
yep.
So I think AEW's formula moving forward, they always put on banger pay-per-views, but having that follow-up show to make everything tied in, because this is the first time in a while where I see like everybody else on the pay-per-view had something to do with their follow-up show on Dynamite. Like you had Swerve come on, even Darby, he was in the main event. You had him on. The Kingdom, he just won the belt. They were on the beginning. So having like, even though you're the wrestling company, like you said, you still have to have storylines to bring people in the building. So having that follow up to your pay per views, definitely the direction they should go. Sprinkle in some of those special shows in between to get you along to a pay per view, and then have a good go home show. But looking at the numbers or the shows you went to, I think 3,200 at Dynamite, and like 2,500 at Collision. How do you think they should carry this momentum? You think it's just like if you build it, they'll come, and then the numbers will slowly but surely start to come up as far as attendance? Because I don't give a fuck
So
about ratings, but I do want the company to do good, and you have to sell tickets.
I've talked about this before with excuse me, where they were. So, all right, draw a big circle, and in the middle of that circle is Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's the State Farm Arena. Now, there's highways that go through that circle. There's like 6 of them. And to the outside of that circle, it's called outside the perimeter. That circle is 285, which is the perimeter. You have inside the perimeter and outside the perimeter. Duluth is outside the perimeter, and it's like northeast of Atlanta. So if you live in Kennesaw, where I live, you have to go into Atlanta and then go up out of Atlanta to get not necessarily all the way in Atlanta, but you got to go to 285, which is the perimeter, go over and then go up. If you live in Atlanta, you got to go through Atlanta and then go up. If you live in Smyrna, you got to get to one part of 285. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is it's a shit show trying to get to Duluth. I Google mapped how long it would take me to get to the State Farm Arena and how it would get to the Gas South Arena. And I really think that them doing the show at Duluth is why they're having attendance like that in Atlanta. I think if they were to do Phillips Arena, I think they'd have no problem getting 6 to 8,000 people in there. Now, that's still half the arena, but it's more than what would fit in Duluth because it's so much more accessible.
What about like a Georgia Tech arena? Where is that located in the city?
That's in downtown Atlanta. So if you're going to do Georgia Tech, you might as well do State Farm. They're not far from one another, probably like 15 minutes.
But then I feel like Georgia Tech is probably a little smaller. You don't have to scale it down so much.
Maybe, but they've only done State Farm once and they sold it out. And that was Cody versus Wardlow. Now, AEW was a lot hotter when that happened, but they brought CM Punk back here and went to Duluth when he was on his first run. He wrestled Lee Moriarty.
Hey, as much as we hate on Punk and how many flaws he had, well, I don't really hate on him, but the collective you out there hate on him. He
You can say
brings in
me.
numbers.
Say me. I don't give a
Rucker.
yeah.
He still could fill up an arena. People like him, but I
When
get
he
what you're
gets his
saying.
shoulder,
Especially a big city like Atlanta. I mean, you want to make it accessible to everybody. But I was just in Springfield, and it was like 2,500 people there. So
yeah, but Springfield's not a market that Atlanta is, right? Like, and we deal with traffic every day. Like it's a bad thing. So you got to think it's during the week, right? You got to get off work. If you're taking your kids, you got to get home. You got to pick your kids up. So you've went through the traffic of getting home from work to home that you normally do every day. Now you got to go sit in even more traffic to try to get there early. You have to be a diehard AEW fan to do this, which is what I think was there. You have to want to go to that show. You can't, it can't be like, oh, look, AEW's in town. Maybe I go, maybe I won't. You have to plan on how you're going to do it because of how the set. Now, this doesn't go for every city. I'm just speaking specifically for Atlanta. Like you said, Springfield had 2,500 people there. Other cities have a couple hundred or a couple thousand people there. Now, they're going to go to Boston tomorrow. It's supposed to be like 10,000 people there
oh
tomorrow.
wow, I didn't realize they bumped up that much. I remember initially they were like in the 5,000 range. That's amazing.
Okay, well, then you're saying that. Don't let me lie.
I can
Let,
see that though, especially after the revolution. And
let me look real quick because you're saying a
but but
thousand.
but I get it, especially like I don't even want to talk about what happened in the past because they had
Okay,
their rough spot. Go
I
ahead.
got it. It's the setup is for 8,200 people, and
Mhm.
they've sold 7,500 tickets. So there's roughly 700 tickets left.
That's still really good.
Sell out. Yeah.
Um, so even what like if you look at their Chicago numbers, every time they go to Chicago, they're basically in the city. They bounce. It's like three different arenas. They bounce between like the Now Arena, the Sears Center. I might be mixing them up. I know the one name change, but they have like three arenas. The Wind Trust, that's the one. The Wind Trust and whatnot. And their numbers have been dipping. But I don't want to talk about the past. I'm just saying moving forward, what do they need to do to consistently be in like the 5,000 to 7,000 for TV? So I think that's would be a sweet spot.
I think what they did this week, following up on storylines,
Mhm.
really good wrestling. Um, not, you know, like you said, we don't want to talk about the past, but there's been other AEW big shows like Revolution and Double or Nothing where people aren't even on the show the following week to follow. And I feel like they followed up. The Young Bucks coming out. They wouldn't have been on the show like 6, 8 months ago afterwards. Them coming out and talking the shit about Sting, which I thought was hilarious, and then bringing out Okada. That's the kind of shit that'll get people invested in your product. We want storylines that are going to follow through. Love all the wrestling. I love the Will Ospreay stuff, but I need a story. I can go to YouTube and Google any kind of New Japan wrestling and see a great match like that and not have to worry about who's who. I need to be invested. I need you to make me want to cheer you or boo you. And I think that's what they're getting to now. Speaking of cheering, Gigi Dolan's on my TV.
Yeah. So I know Rome wasn't built in a day, so you just think it's just like a build it and they will come, just keep being consistent, and then you consistently see the numbers tick up.
Yeah. I think they tried to grow too fast too soon.
Not that too, but hindsight is always 2020. But I mean, I feel like they were in a nice sweet spot. I think Punk is the reason why they kind of scaled it up a little bit too fast because when they first started, they were doing like the smaller arenas. But then when Punk came around, you started seeing them trying to do like basketball stadiums every week. And then they
I
didn't.
mean, I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, they when Cody and Wardlow wrestled, Punk wasn't there, and they were in the Phillips Arena or State Farm Arena. There was 14,000 people
But
there.
wasn't that like a special too, like a special attraction episode?
I can't recall whether it was or it wasn't, but to me, it was just AEW was coming to Atlanta for the first time.
But so then, what do you mean by too fast, too quickly?
I think they might have got a little too big for their britches, like trying to do these bigger arenas in towns that had smaller shows. or smaller arenas that they could have did. And just the booking hasn't been good. Like I say it all the time. Look at Miro. Like how many times are we going to start and stop with Miro with all these backstage vignettes? He comes and he wrestles one match at a pay-per-view, and then you don't see the motherfucker for 4 months.
Yeah, that's one example, but I don't. I know I know it's not all the management part. I heard that sometimes he just wasn't available, but I get what you're saying. But even if you talk about like the Keith Lees, the Aleister
Okay.
Blacks,
I love
The Wardlows, the Powerhouse Hobbs.
I love what you just said about him not being available. Okay, besides injury, I don't like to do a lot of like backstage reporting and stuff like that because I'm not there. I just hear what people are reporting. And a lot of reports have it to where there are AEW wrestlers that if they don't want to lose, they say they're not doing it. If they don't want to work with somebody, they say they're not doing it. And I think that's one of your issues. Like
Yeah.
you can't, you have to be able to book how you want to book. You have to be able to say, look, you're going to have a good match. You're going to have the spirit of the fight, but your ass is losing tonight. And you can't have people say, no, I don't want to do that. And then next thing you know, they're off of TV.
Well, if you don't want to do it, then you're fired. That's what you got to do as a boss.
Guess what? If I fire you, you're making me the same amount of money as you are sitting your ass at home. Only difference is I ain't paying you anymore. And
Exactly.
I think Tony's missing that killer instinct as a boss. He wants to be everybody's, but again, I don't know. I'm not there. I'm just judging from what I see outside. He wants to be everybody's buddy instead of being the boss. As a parent, he wants to be your friend, not your dad.
Yeah, that's true. You got to be able to put your foot down. But I digress. I just think this year it's been really good as far as what they've been putting on TV. I just want to see it translate to people coming for TV because the pay-per-views are fine. I mean, we were there, even though it was Sting's last match, it was strong 16,000 in there. It's just the week to week. And I guess if they keep doing what they're doing, like I don't want to see next week, we don't see anybody that we've been seeing them build stories for, and they fall off the rails.
We ain't seen Will Ospreay in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I agree with you. They just got to be consistent, man. Honestly, that's the biggest deal. You got to be consistent. You got to have consistent booking. Long-term storytelling is the buzzword in wrestling Twitter lately. WWE has it, AEW doesn't.
Hey, they've been doing storytelling with your girl Saraya. That's like a WWE storyline.
I'm not going to comment on Saraya because
And her and her brother's weird relationship.
yeah. Street clothes wrestler of the week.
Street clothes wrestler of the week. Who went last time?
You go ahead.
So, I mean, I feel like Seth Rollins could win this every week, but
Really?
I'm not gonna go in that direction. I'm gonna go in a different direction. I'm gonna go with Drew McIntyre. Shout out to Drew McIntyre.
Didn't have any street clothes on this week.
Yeah, he did. He said
Wearing
that
a kilt.
He had a leather jacket and a leather kilt.
That's what he wears to the ring before he wrestles.
I thought it
He
was
wrestling boots on, EJ.
I thought it was fly with the leather kilt, the leather jacket.
I mean, hey, if that's what you want to vote for, you're more than welcome to. Those weren't street clothes, though.
Well, he didn't wrestle at all. So
They had knee pads on.
how they not street clothes if he didn't wrestle?
He had knee pads on, EJ. Made street clothes.
Hey, he wrestled in a single.
Oh my God. Santino. Okay. Santino's daughter just kicked Gigi Dolan in the nether regions.
I think she is ready made for the main roster.
All right, I'm gonna spoil this because this is stupid. She kicked Gigi Dolan like Ric Flair does, that little mule kick, and the referee didn't see it. So then Gigi Dolan gives her a low blow. Neither one of them have balls, EJ. And Gigi got disqualified for a low blow on a woman.
I heard that hurts more than it doesn't hurt like a man, but I heard it still hurts them. But
She gave a low blow to a woman and got disqualified.
Make it make sense.
Oh my god. I don't know. I like Carmen Petrovich and Sol Ruka backstage. I'm
That was
sorry,
so
I didn't mean to
Ruger.
cut you off. Go ahead.
Nah, but he wrestles in like the little underwear. He doesn't wrestle in the kilt, so it is his street clothes. So yeah, that's my street clothes wear of the week, and that's what I'm sticking to.
Um, I was gonna vote Cody because Cody always has dope suits, but you said it. Soraya was looking good on TV this week, so I'm gonna vote Soraya.
Hey, shout out it's Soraya. Well, she did something funny backstage during that. She was like,
Had her
"Oh,
brother attack that guy.
yeah." She was like, "Don't do it, don't do it." And then she was like, "Do it." That was pretty funny.
Um, being front row and in the arena, I will say Dasha is gorgeous in real life. It was fun like interacting with her. They have a new um they have a new ring announcer. Me and you actually talked about her at Revolution. Her name is Arcadia Aura. She would have won Street Clothes of the Week if she wasn't a wrestler. Because at Dynamite, she was looking dynamite.
Hold
Uh,
up, what happened to Justin Roberts?
no, she's the announcer for ROH and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You remember we were sitting at Revolution and I was like, "Do you see the woman out here in front of Renee Paquette?" And you said, "Yeah, I see her."
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought it was like a camera woman or something.
No, our entire section was asking about her, and I actually tweeted it, and she tweeted us back. But she's the ring announcer for ROH and stuff like that. So
What happened to old boy, older gentleman? Can't remember his name off the top of my head.
he's still there too. He was there. He was there. I know who you're talking about. He was there Thursday night when we did a collision.
So they recorded two ROHs?
Yeah,
Hmm. And Rampage. They recorded ROH on Dynamite and Rampage.
a lot of fucking wrestling, EJ.
Jeez.
Yeah, I walked out on 2/3 of the way through Rampage to beat the traffic, and 2/3 of the way through ROH to beat the traffic.
I don't blame you, man. Well, at least you got to see Ember Moon, Athena.
Yeah, I'll send you some pictures.
I ain't mad at it.
What we got left?
Big business.
Yeah, Sasha Banks is coming back, right? Like that's what we're doing.
Mercedes Monet. How do you think this rollout is gonna be? Because I might not even get to watch it live, which sucks. But how do you think you think beginning, middle, end? You got to put the world title on at the end, right?
When Punk came back, it was the worst kept secret, and they just led the show off with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could do it that way, but I also think if you have Tony Storm just out there talking shit, people are gonna kind of know. But we've talked about it before. Sometimes predictable isn't bad.
Yeah, I feel like you should just not even have Tony Storm, just do it like you did with Punk. They're building her up as like the woman equivalent of what they did with Punk, as far as like promoting the show beforehand, but basically telling you with the promotion. So why not just roll her out? You know?
Yeah, definitely. Question is she gonna wrestle tomorrow night, or is she just there for an appearance?
She ain't wrestling. I
I
mean,
put her. I put her in the ring. She's in
well,
Boston.
well,
You got
who?
8,000. You got 8,000 people gonna be there. Honestly, have her beat Tony Storm for the belt tomorrow.
That'd be a splash. I feel like if you do that, you got to set up like her and Mariah for like a women's tag team match with it's a belt that doesn't exist yet. But
Have Mariah be the reason she lose. Mariah's so funny as Tony Storm in person.
oh yeah,
She fucking killed it. She really did.
would she do something like a tiny detail that didn't really translate
Yeah,
on TV?
there was like a guy in the front row that had a sign that said it, and she took off running over there and like hugged him during the commercial break. And her and him were like, she was like, "Yeah, y'all are jealous that I hugged him," like talking shit to the crowd. He was like, "Yeah, you're jealous." He's like some fucking fat neck beard, dude. Um, but just her mannerisms and like when I first discovered Mariah May, I honestly thought she was just like a hot wrestling fan. I know she was actually just a wrestler. And then when I saw she was a wrestler, I thought, oh, she's just there because she's hot. She's good, man. She really is. She's not fucking Sasha or Becky or like a ring technician, but she's passable.
Mm, and she's also only 25, so
Yeah. She's young. She's full of charisma. Like she's charismatic as hell. She's killing this role she's in. Her and what's her name? That rose with Paige.
no, Harley Quinn,
Yeah, Harley Cameron.
Cameron, yeah, I said Harley
Now,
Quinn, not Batman.
now Harley Cameron can't wrestle as well as Mariah May does, but they have both bought into these characters so bad that it's entertaining as hell to watch. So
Yeah, Harley
yeah,
Cameron's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, can't hate on that. Uh, that's funny that she ran up to a neck braid like that. I mean, like I said, I saw her in the airport, man. She's a pretty woman in person.
oh
So,
yeah.
shout out to Mariah. I didn't see her Stardom stuff. Was she in Stardom, right?
I can't remember where she was. I know she started out in I want to say England, but I could be wrong. But I just remember seeing her on Twitter like constantly, and I remember thinking she was one of the wrestling fans that's just really hot that get over on Twitter. I had no idea she was a wrestler.
Man, and look at her now, Tony Storm's right hand woman. But going back to your thought on Mercedes, so I guess that would be a splash, her winning the belt. I mean, but if they don't have her wrestle, like, what do you think they're gonna go with this?
I should probably challenge Tony Storm for uh Dynasty. Is that the name of it in St.
Yeah,
Louis?
yeah.
Yeah.
After all that shit, Serena Deeb was talking. You don't think she'd have a warm up with her? He said no.
It's Serena Deeb. Yeah, and I love Serena Deeb. Don't get me wrong, but she's got bigger fish to fry.
Man, so Thor and there. How long has Tony had it? She's had it since Full Gear. That's not that long of a run, even though she's what 3 time now.
She's had it for a minute. She's had it way longer than I thought she would have it with that gimmick.
Hey, fans still love it. But
I love Tony Storm. She's just hilarious.
what do you think about people saying that it's too soon for Wardlow to have this match with Joe for the title?
Get him out the way. Because at Dynasty, we want to see Swerve beat Joe.
Yeah, before they announced this dynasty, I thought they were gonna like have that a double or nothing, but how they got to do that dynasty, right?
Yeah, get it out the way. Get Wardlow out the way, and we need Swerve to get Swerve in person over as a motherfucker in Atlanta. You couldn't even hear him talk. It was motherfucker like 6 or 7 people down from me. Whose house? The whole fucking crowd. Swerve's house. I'm like, I'm trying to listen.
So
Over.
they, what about people? Mainly, I think it was somebody on Busted Open. They were complaining about you rushing it with Wardlow and just basically squashing him, and you should have built more of a story for him to have a title shot.
I'm over Wardlow. He cut a great promo, but I don't give a fuck anymore. Like he had his shot 2 years ago when he squashed MJF and they shit the bed with it.
Was it his fault though?
I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying they shit the bed with it. I'm over it. It swerves. You have to be able to adapt to what's happening. I get that Tony Khan likes booking long, like he likes looking ahead, being like, this is what's gonna happen. But sometimes in wrestling, people get over.
Mhm.
Swerve is over. You can't wait. This ain't WWE where you can pass up on Sami Zayn and Jey Uso and all that, and you'll still be fine. You're still a growing company. This guy is the most popular fucking wrestler in your company right now. Put the goddamn title on him.
I agree. Because the writing's on the wall. You're probably gonna have Osprey headline All In, right, in London.
Yeah, bruv.
Hey, you could get away with having a main event and maybe not even winning though, if it Swerve's the champion.
He'd be a big time heel in England, but he'd be a hero when he got back to America.
Exactly. I'm all for it.
You remember back in the day when Bret Hart was a heel, and when he would go to Canada, he'd be a face.
Yeah, that was actually like the perfect booking back then.
Yeah, I mean he wouldn't be booked like a face. He would just be a face because he was in his hometown, and you could do that with Swerve and Osprey. Osprey, I'm sorry, Swerve could be the heel when he goes to England, and then he comes back to America, and he's a big time baby face. Osprey would get cheered either way.
That's true. I mean, what maybe like they would just even not boost Swerve for that because how over he is. Maybe it'd be like one of those like face to face, you know?
If he beat Osprey in England, they're gonna boo the shit out of him.
You think? You think that would even
Hell yeah.
translate into like an open air stadium like that?
You call him all kind of racial slurs over there.
Is England racist like that?
They will be if he beats fucking Osprey.
You might be right. Hey man, but yeah, like you said, you got to pull the trigger on Swerve though, right? I mean, like you said, the whole Atlanta was like all in for Swerve, no pun intended. But
It ain't just Atlanta though; it's everywhere.
yeah, what do you think? That I feel like that was like a pretty hard face turn the way he gave the speech, basically saying how he did things the wrong way, right?
I like that he's acknowledging that he was a piece of shit and like not apologizing for it, but still being like, in a way, it's kind of like MJF's "I'm your asshole" or whatever he used to say. What do he say?
Yeah,
I'm your
I'm your scumbag.
yeah, I'm your, but not like as corny.
I think it's gonna be some dissension with Prince Nana. I don't think you could take Nana away. I think that's a part of the package, but Nana still wanted to do heel stuff and Swerve like was against it.
I think Nana's a part of the package, like you said, and that's a good dynamic. Um, One of my favorite Sting things was when Luger was a heel and Sting was a face, and they were tag team champions. And Sting's like trying to get Luger to do the right thing, and Luger's trying to get Sting to be a heel, and they have this dynamic to where they're still friends, right? But they have opposite fucking uh views on how they should go about stuff. And I thought that was a really good thing. Why not have your manager be like, no, dog, we gotta cheat. He's like, I don't want to cheat. And have Nana like cheat for him and Swerve be like, fuck, I guess I gotta take the win.
Yeah, I mean, you could play that card. I wouldn't be mad at that. But it is two other things before we get on here about big business. So you got Pac versus Okada. Hold up, is Eddie Kingston in that match too?
It's a
Okay,
triple threat. It's Kingston, uh I was gonna say La Parca.
it looks like
Cero Mero.
it's a
What's his
trio.
name?
It's a trio. Yeah,
Yeah, what's his name? Cero Mero.
that's his name. Penta Ceremento.
Pentagon. Yeah, Pentagon, Kingston, and Pac versus Okada and the Bucks.
So you think it's about to happen? It's something you probably been waiting for a long time. You think Okada's gonna get that belt off of Kingston at
Oh yeah,
Dynasty?
that belt that belt's coming to Okada.
Man, I hope they when are they gonna break that belt up? I want to see like you give some up and coming that ROH belt and send the Japanese the New Japan belt back over there.
Kingston doesn't even bring the other two belts out with him anymore.
Exactly. So I was like, yeah, give it like an up and comer that's a shot to do that ROH belt. And another thing, you were there with the Darby Allin because it's supposed to be Darby Allin and Jay White when he did his promo. Darby Allin was kind of spitting some truth, man, because Jay White was a big free agent get, and since he's been there, we all like the Bang Bang Gang, but he's been running around with a cardboard cutout and doing shenanigans. So where does Jay White go from here after this match with Allen? Like they build him back up because that was like him, like he was like not quite Osprey, but like on the same level as far as like people excited for a free agent get. And after he lost to MJF, it's been kind of Nothing really going on with that besides running around with daddy ass.
I feel like Darby Darby has gotten so good on the mic. I shouldn't say so good. He's gotten so much better than he was to begin with. Like Darby's only interest that I'd have in him was the crash and burn stuff. Now when he talks on the mic, you kind of listen to him like, okay. And he had a point. It's what everybody's been saying. Jay White came over with all this pomp and circumstance, and he's running around in a 6-man group with 6-man tag titles.
Not
Like,
even the main ones. You got the
yeah, the ROH ones. Silver, they're second place 6-man titles. So yeah, he had a point. And you ever watch you watch Thor?
yeah.
You know the when Thor went to Ragnarok and he was friends with the big guy that's like a rock. He's like, "Hey Thor." That
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear Jay White talk now, that's all I hear.
Really? I
Ever
didn't
since
even
when we went to Greensboro and he was like, "I love Greensboro." I just heard, "Hey Thor, that guy's messing with me again online." Like that's who he sounds like to me now, and I can't get it out of my head. I don't remember the guy's name though.
Yeah, I know that that was a creepy looking character. But yeah, you already know because so going to a slightly different subject with Max Caster and what was it the Acclaim. He messed up when he was in Springfield. Was that on purpose or they like retconning it and kind of playing off if he really did mess up? Because it feels like they're gonna make a break between them and Bang Bang Gang.
I think he messed up, and they're making a thing out of it.
Okay, that's what I thought too. And they were like retconning it. So you think they should like go out of the box and have the Acclaim turn heel? Because I feel like they've been like kind of just floating around.
I would be. I mean, the claim started out as heels.
Yeah,
Like,
they did. They right, they did, and the fans kind of turned them.
yeah,
They
why
used to
not?
go at the fan. I don't know, man. I like to see Jay White do something, but I don't know. Them getting mixed up with them, and I feel like the claim and Daddy Ass, Billy Gunn ain't going like in the ring. I feel like those trios titles were hot when the House of Black and the Elite were going at it, and now they're just carrying around as props, basically. The claim.
They got too many belts in AEW.
Well, that's a given, but Tony Khan likes belts, so I feel like they could do some creative stuff since they do have the belts. But I digress.
Well, EJ, that's all I got for tonight. Unless you got anything else you want to get to.
That's all I got, man. Um, 80 proof this Thursday, right? End of the era.
The last episode of 80 Proof this Thursday night, live on YouTube.
Everybody tune in for that. That's gonna be a fun one. You gotta pour up for that in honor of the actual name of the podcast, right?
Yep. Um, it'll be a good show. Like you said, end of an era. Uh, we've been doing it for 3 years, maybe.
Yeah. And 2020 during the pandemic, yeah.
Yeah, a little over 3 years. Like I said on 80 Proof, you can still catch a Admire on Haymaker. You can still catch Jay Gaiman, and you can catch me on Boot to the Face and Full Press Cowboys. So we'll all still be around. We might still do a little pop-up show here and there. We might do a pop-up Zoom here and there. Like we'll still keep the Discord active and stuff like that. But the podcast thing will just be it'll be over with. We're all a little too busy and too, when you start having to cancel shows all the time, it's like we probably need to move on. Um, but yeah, 80 proof, end of an era. It'll be fun.
Yeah, let's go. Like the kids would say, let's fucking go.
Uh, great show, EJ. Great week of wrestling. I'm looking forward to Big Business tomorrow. I'm gonna make sure that I'm watching that live. I don't watch a lot of AEW live on television, but I will be tuned into that because Mercedes is one of my favorite women's wrestlers, like ever. Uh,
And I feel like this is the company for her because she's like likes to wrestle. She's like a wrestler.
yeah, she's definitely top 5 in my women's rankings. I think I'd put Mickey and Becky 1 and 2, and then hmm, She might be 3.
Hey, and that's Mickey's not even like full time anymore. So
I just mean of all time, like my favorite.
all time.
Yeah,
That's even more high praise.
fucking Becky and Becky 1 and 2 that way, and then yeah, Mercedes might be 3, man. Bianca's crawling up there. Um, yeah, it's so hard with women wrestling because they didn't get serious until like 10, 15 years ago. So you're just throwing people out. I know Victoria's up there. She was really good. But yeah,
Aren't you a Jazz fan or a Jacqueline fan? I don't know. I kind of think you
I
said
like
that.
them, but I wouldn't put them in my top 5. I did like both. If I was to make a top 10, they Jacqueline, Miss Jackie would be in there. I don't know about Jazz.
I know you're a Nikki Bella fan.
Ooh, yeah. Nikki Bella is definitely in my top 5. And I know people are gonna laugh at that. If you go back and look at her as the Divas champion, Nikki Bella was fucking working. I know everybody looked at her and just saw tits and ass and John Cena's girlfriend and twin magic and the booty shake and all that shit. Nikki was working. She was getting so much. It's a shame she got. If she could have went 2 more years healthy, she probably would have went down as like one of the best women's wrestlers in WWE. Like she was getting so good. She was doing power moves. She was. I can sit here and tell you, but if you didn't go watch it or you ain't gonna watch it, like you ain't gonna listen to me. Not you, EJ, but like people listening. But Nikki Bella was. She was the truth for a while.
Hey, we might have to do like a special one time, just talk women's wrestling, give our top list and stuff like that.
I'm down with it. I'm always down to talk women's wrestling.
Yes, sir.
Well, for EJ Reed, I'm Chris Rucker. This has been another episode of Boot to the Face. Tune in next week as we review Big Business, and we are on the road to WrestleMania. I will probably next week talk about what giveaway I'm going to do for WrestleMania T-shirt week, which starts the Monday before WrestleMania and goes every day through the end of WrestleMania. But until then, for EJ Reed, I'm Chris Rucker. This has been Boot to the Face. Peace.
Got it bumping. Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Quick to put a dude in